Starting a data analysis journey can be exhilarating, but hey, it comes with challenges. Null values or representing missing and undefined data are common obstacles in datasets. In today's episode, I'm going to reveal the process of handling null values using the power of Pandas in Python. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of PyPod Chronicles. Welcome to PyPod Chronicles, a series that brings our tech blog to life in a whole new way. Covering an array of topics surrounding Python and tech, from programming tips, best practices, and so much more. Let's get immersed in Python with the Nerd Nook on the go. As this is the second installment in my new mini-series on an intro to data analysis with Python, before I dive into today's episode, guys, the first link in the description, head on down there. That's my blog. And just by going over there, you guys are going to get a free handcrafted Python and Git guide. It's a PDF guide that I've made for you, and I give to all my students on their first day of class. And hey, while you're over there, have a read at some of the articles or buy me a coffee. I don't know. It's the first link in the description. Head on down there and get your free copy of my handcrafted Python guide. Now, the first part in data analysis is we get our data and we need to prepare our data to work with it. And that means we need to clean the data. So in order to clean it, we have to understand what is a null value. In simple terms, a null value are like gaps in your data set where information is missing. Addressing these gaps is crucial for accurate data analysis. Today, you're going to learn the first steps that are commonly used during the data cleaning and pre-processing stages. Let's talk about how we identify null values. That's the first step in data cleaning. It's checking the integrity of your data set. Now, in Pandas, we have a method called isNill, and this is your first line of defense. It helps us identify any nil values in our datasets by creating a Boolean mask. So if a series in your dataset is nil, this method is going to return a Boolean, true or false. Okay, so that's all it's doing. You can use this method to go through each row in a dataset or each column, and it's going to return true or false. If it returns false, well, you're good to go. Your data has no empty values. But if it returns true, it means, well, okay, you need to clean your data because there are missing values. So if we have a data frame, I could create a variable called checkNull, and I could say that's equal to df, my data frame, .isNill. Print off checkNull, and that's it. It's going to return within the whole data frame. Are there any null values? If it returns true, okay. You need to break it down and check where. This is the first test in the data cleaning process. Now that you have found some empty or missing values, you found these nil values, you need to fill these nil values. You need to do something with them, because if we just leave them there, that's going to affect the outcome of your analytics and what you're trying to find with this data. It could result in bad answers, or if you try to plot this data or use this for machine learning, you're not going to get the most accurate results. Once you've identified these nil values, the next step is to fill them. Now in Pandas, we now have a method called fillna, and this basically just means fill nil. And this method comes in handy. It literally translates to fill nil value. It allows us to insert some type of data into any cell that has a nil value. So continuing on the previous example, I have a data frame and there is a nil value in there. It's true. So I can now take my data frame and say df.fillna. And then inside there, I'm going to put, what do I want the nil values to be filled with? This could be a number like 0 or 1. So anytime you come across a nil value, you're going to just insert a 0. Or if it could be a string, maybe you're inserting a name. Like for example, if I'm missing a name in one of the rows, I could insert the value unknown. Okay. Or if I'm missing an age, well, I don't need to fill in unknown for that. If I'm missing an age, I could collect the average age of everyone and I could insert the missing age for any nil value. That would, increase my data set. But lastly, in some cases, you don't even want to replace those nil values. An easier way is you could just remove all the nil values altogether, depending on the type of data you're working for. In some cases, removing rows and columns with nil values is the best option, but you need to ask yourself the right questions to see if removing these values will affect your data. If you would like to remove any nil values from your dataset, you can simply use the dropna method. Dropna literally translates to drop nil. Now, if you just call dropna with no arguments, it's going to drop all the nil values. If you want to drop a column, for example, I could just use drop and then insert a column, and I could actually remove that column from my data frame. Now, this method dropna will go through our current data frame and remove any nil values in your data set. And remember, you can also target a specific column or row, or in Pandas, I should be calling that a series. You can target a series and remove any nil values from a specific series. Now, let's address a few popular questions that you might have from this episode. Now, how do you decide between filling and dropping nil values? Now, this decision really depends on the nature of your analysis. If the missing data is essential, filling might be preferable. If the data is not that crucial or it's too sparse, then you might as well just drop it because that's a viable choice. You can use the fillna with other strategies as well, like your median or your mode. The value parameter in fillna allows for various strategies that you can implement. This includes like statistical measures, so median or mode, or there's other experimental approaches you can use as well. And if you encounter any challenges with nil value handling, it most likely includes a biased imputation or some kind of data leak. So it's crucial to be aware of these pitfalls and adapt your approaches. If you neglect nil values, this can skew your results and lead to inaccurate conclusions. So proper nil value handling ensures the integrity and the reliability of your data analysis. And you can automate these tasks too, because that's what Python is good at, right? Automating tasks. But you can automate nil value handling by creating functions or even pipelines in Pandas. This is especially useful for repetitive tasks in those large data sets. Alright guys, let's wrap up this episode. Handling nil values is the cornerstone of data cleaning in Pandas. By learning to understand these basic data cleaning methods like isNill, fillna, and dropna, you allow yourself to navigate these complex real-world datasets. And as you continue your Python journey, remember that data cleaning is not just a task, it's a skill that enhances the accuracy and the reliability of your analysis. Now guys, this is the first step in data analysis. And in this mini-series, I really want to take you from day one, not knowing anything, all the way through, not just data analysis, but I want to take you into data visualization and hopefully into machine learning. And I'm going to create a few case studies around this for you to follow along with. Remember guys, if you head on down to the link in the description, I have so many resources for you down there. And you can get my free handcrafted in Python starter kit, absolutely free today, to help you in your Python journey. First link in the description. Head on down there and pick up your copy today. Well guys, that's all for today's episode on how to handle nil values in data analysis with Pandas. That's your beginner's guide. I can't wait to continue this journey with you. I will see you guys in the next episode of PyPod Chronicles. Until then.